Okay, this is going to be a quick little tutorial. It's not really a tutorial. I guess it kind of is. I'm just going to review some stuff that we've already gone over to help out a viewer. I figured I'd throw this into a video, and he's trying to grab some images from a website. Um, this was the information he gave me, this OTC PC Portraits Online Gallery. So this is the page here. And basically he wants to grab some of the images from these links here. And this would be relatively simple to do, except for this portion of the page. The list here is generated with JavaScript, which is kind of a pain in the butt to work with from the command line. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. So first thing I'm going to do, let's open up a terminal window here. I'll make it a little bit larger so you can see what I'm typing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, and for me I'm going to create this in my temp directory just because it's not something I'm going to store. I'll just make a folder, a directory, and I'll call it WOTC. Sure. And I'll move into that directory. Now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at the source code of this page by hitting Control U in Firefox. I'm going to file, save page as, and I'm going to go to where I have that folder, and I'm just going to call this page.html. Really, you can call it anything. It's just going to be a plain text file as far as we're concerned. So that's downloaded, and if we go back to our directory here and we list out, you can see that file. We can cat it out, and it will be the source code for that web page. And basically we need to get, let's close this download window, this list of links here, and then we're going to take that list and look through a list within each of those links. But we're going to make this real simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grep through that file. And basically if we look at the source code of this page, you can see if I hover over it down here in the corner of Firefox, it gives me a link name. And it's going to say default.asp question mark x equals dnd. And so that's what we'll grep for, just because I'm assuming, and we'll see if I'm right, each of these links is labeled like that. So we'll say grep, and then I'm going to say, once again, we're going to search for, grep is for searching, that little string I just said, dnd, and then the name of the file we want to grep through, so I'll say page.html, and there we go, we got links here. So now what we want to do is we want to cut through those links. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say cut dash delimiter. We're going to use the question mark as a delimiter. And I've already counted this out. It's field number 10. So if we do that, you can see that we get a bunch of links here, but we're also getting some stuff that isn't exactly what we want. Now I can grep through that again for that same string, or I can just flip-flop what I've done so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our cut command, and I'm going to put it here at the beginning, and then I'm going to take my grep command here, and I'm going to, instead of piping the grep into the cut, I'm going to cut and then grep. There we go. That's a little bit cleaner. So just saving ourselves a step rather than grepping the same exact thing again, which is what I would have done. Now, the next thing we want to do is make sure there's no duplicates here. So we're just going to say sort -u. That will put them in alphanumeric order and remove any duplicates. Great so far. So these are all our links. Of course, we're going to have to add a little bit to the beginning because we don't have the domain name at the beginning here, but we'll get to that in a moment. And this is basically going to turn into one long one-liner, which I'll share with you guys in the links in the description. But we're going to take that, and for each of those links, what we're going to do is we're going to say while read, so while read each link, and we'll just say link. We'll make a variable called link. What are we going to do? We're going to echo http www.wizards.com and then $link, and we'll say done. So now as you can see, we have created links that work. If I right click on one of these and say open link and go back to my web browser, you can see it is opening it with the images. So now we have a list of pages and we have a series of images on each page. So now we need to pipe this into another while loop, read each line, and grab that web page from the internet. So that same command, and we're now going to pipe that into a while read, and we're going to say page. And what are we going to do? So we're creating a variable called page, and then we're going to use links, is a text-based web browser I like to use. Should be in your repositories if you don't already have it installed. Excuse me. And we are going to just dump the information from that page. So I'm going to dump our variable of page, which is going to be each one of these links one at a time. And then, well, let's see what output we get from that. So we got the output of the pages here. We want to add to that now because we don't want all the information from the pages. We want to grep through that. And I'm looking at my notes here. Give me a second. Okay, so now I'm going to grep through this for each page. I'm going to grep for URL equals DND. Let's do that and see what we get. Maybe. There we go. So basically it's looking at each one of those pages. As you can see, each one of these is an image on the page. You can see they end in .jpg. So I'm going to kill that because it's going through basically every single one of these links and displaying that page. And we're grepping through it for just the images. But we are getting extra information here, some numbers here, because links, and I'll show you this. I should just show you. If I grab this page, which is what this is doing, it's grabbing each one of these pages individually. If I say links -- dump, and I put in that web page, it's going to dump all the information from the page, as well as at the bottom, it's going to list all the links. And we want the links that are these JPEGs, and that's why we grep the URL equals DND. And but they're numbered. We want to get rid of those numbers. So we're going to run this same command again, but we're going to pipe that into awk print $2, which means it's going to print the second column. Give it a second. It's grabbing the original list, then it's going out to the internet, grabbing each individual page, and then it's grepping and awking through it. And here we go. We are getting a bunch of links here. If I Control C to stop that, I can hover over one of these and say open link. And if we go to my web browser, you can see it has now grabbed the image that we were looking for that I clicked on in the terminal. So now we need to take that, each one of those lines, and download them individually. So here we go. We will run that same command again, but we're going to pipe that once again into a while loop. And we'll say while read, and we'll say img for image, because these are our actual links to our image pages. And we can now wget, and I'm going to say wget-c, and what C does means continues. So if you were to kill this script halfway through and start it up again, it won't re-download the images it's already downloaded. It will continue going with files it hasn't downloaded. Then we're going to put in our $img, which is our full link to our images. And then we can say done. And we'll loop through that and save each one. The only problem is it would save each one with this big long name here. So basically it would have a number.jpg, and then it will have this end original, which is part of the link name, not necessarily part of the image name. So what we're going to do instead of that is I'm going to number them. And there's different ways you can do this. A real quick, simple, dirty way. First off, $O for wget for output file. And I'm going to say $, parentheses, And inside those parentheses, I'm going to type the command date plus %s, which will give us seconds since 1970 or 1971. Basically, it's going to give us a new unique number every second. And since it takes more than a second to download each image, it should give us individual file names. And I'm going to say .jpeg because that's the type of file they are. So now I'll hit enter. And obviously I messed something up when I just did that. Let's see. Unexpected done. Oh, I forgot to put for my last while loop do. Now we'll hit enter. And in a moment here, it will start downloading every one of those portrait images from all those links. Give it a second to start connecting online. There we go. Now I'm going to open up a second terminal while that's going into the same folder. And if I list out, you can see some images here. List out, and you can see every second or so there's another one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say xdg-open, and I'll just say my first file name here. And xdg open will just open up this image file with whatever your default program that you have set to open JPEG images with. And there we go. Now I can start going through, and you can see all these images are on my hard drive. So that is how you download multiple images from that site. Once again, we didn't really go over anything new in this tutorial, just reviewing stuff, looking at different ways to do stuff. Cheat a little bit at the beginning because of the JavaScript. Just the easiest way was to manually download that main page. Luckily, the sub pages weren't using a JavaScript, so it made it simple enough to grab those images. And it will just keep on going till it downloads them all, or your internet goes down or something. So, but it should stop when you reach the last one, and I hope that answers your question, viewer. I don't have your name in front of me, but if I remember, I'll put it on the screen here. And I hope that this helps. And have a great day.